Hi and welcome to this video. This video is about spiritual awakenings and the feeling that shows up in some ways for some of us that we are very old on this planet as souls, which has to do with sacred anger. That sacred anger as a feeling is the fuel of transformation, of transmutation of a lot of things, and it is an activator for those of us who experience it because it actually has to do with how we feel about things that seem normal to most of the people, but not to those of us who experience this feeling. They have, most of people, a huge tolerance of what is normal and what is not normal, exactly. So for those of us who acknowledge stuff as not normal, this is not okay, this is not normal, why this is happening, either they have to do with things about society, about cultural beliefs, about how we treat each other, how specific people show up in our lives, and there are things we don't find normal in their behaviors, in their words, in their thoughts, in their processes in overall, and we get into that stage of sacred anger, of not tolerating and not seeing as normal a lot of things around us. And let me tell you that it is an absolutely normal feeling to experience that rage, the sacred anger that I keep saying, because it is the fuel of transformation and transmutation. And of course, it comes with a very active sacral chakra and active from the space of experiencing deeply emotions and feelings through different situations in our lives. Now, what I wanted to cover with today's video was more about how we can shift our vibration after we have experienced that sacred anger about a lot of things, about a lot of people, about everything in life, about ourselves even. We get to a stage of allowing the transformation to complete itself. So the sacred anger is the activator of how we feel about things that they should have changed already and they haven't, or that this is not normal and most people perceive it as normal where it's not normal. And we get into a space of allowing that feeling to transmute ourselves as, because we are the ones who experience it. Of course, others are the receivers of that sacred anger in some cases, but still, it also helps them to transmute their own beliefs and emotions and transcend them into something healthier for themselves. So it serves a multiple purpose in many ways. It serves us that we experience it, it serves others that receive that sacred anger. It also serves in a different energetical level of downloading the codes of what is needed to happen now, what is needed to change. It's like we are giving a signal to our higher selves, to our over souls, to the source, through our own experiences, which is something that either way it happens, but it is more intense if it makes sense, more specific, that we say this is not okay anymore, this should be changed already, and all of these feelings and thoughts that show up after feeling that sacred anger. So, the positive side of that is us being the bearers of these new codes of what is not okay, what is not okay. Still, we can't stay in that emotional state forever. It is a state we go into and then we transmute what we need to be transmuting. We're sending the signals upwards to the source. We download the new codes of what should be and what shouldn't be and how it should actually show up, and not exactly for others, but for ourselves first and foremost. And these codes actually are received and copied by others as well. So we are shifting and changing a lot, not just ourselves, and the codes we are receiving have nothing to do with our own mentality. Let me explain that a bit better. So if I feel agitated, that sacred anger, that rage within myself about something that is happening only to my country, for example, or to my country and other countries as well. I'm sending that signal through my emotional state and I'm receiving something different as a way of being, as a way of changing things, of something else, something new. Through that energy that is not decided solely by me, that I experience that sacred anger. It comes down in the way it must come down, not through my own perception and not possibly, that's not okay, okay? It comes down through me for the collective, and it, of course, I'm not the only person who gets agitated with something specific. We are plenty of us. So in that space, we are all downloading these pieces, these light codes of how things should be changed. And with our own presence, energetically, the collective is being influenced accordingly. Now, the right codes, the right changes, the right, whatever that right it might be, energetically for the collective of what I see is this is not okay. It's coming into a space of transformation because of these downloaded codes that we now have in our energy after all the experience, the whole experience of sacred anger. When things are not okay, yes, we can change only ourselves in that space, but still we carry these activations and these codes into our magnetic fields, and that influences the collective that we belong into. Now, something else I wanted to also explain that space. Just because we can't constantly be in that space of sacred anger, because it changes us and it doesn't allow us to be in our own unique essence. This is just one aspect of us getting angry and getting into that space of sacred anger and transmuting and transforming. Just one small aspect of us, nothing more, nothing less. So, even with that, we need to change ourselves and get into a space of feeling again okay within us. How that is done, it's not connected with the heart chakra, as many may believe that I should drop to my heart, I should let go of the anger, I should. This should, that is not actually helpful in any way because it puts more weight in our backs and it doesn't allow us to change anything of how we feel about. Even with that, we can get really, really angry in that space. So, what is truly happening is we are working with the crown chakra in that space, we are opening up consciously and more actively our crown chakras, and we are downloading and reconnecting more with the remembrance of the oneness, of that unconditional love that comes by being connected with the divine. And in that space, our own energy shifts massively, and we find that common understanding of everything that comes from love, even the things we don't like, even the things that get us too agitated, even the things that we don't find normal on this planet or on each other or on ourselves. And we are getting into that higher state of understanding, of grounding a new way of being without even realizing what it is exactly that we are grounding now. So that is helpful for those of us that experience these huge, massive tones of sacred anger about things that shouldn't be like that. And believe me, those of us who experience that sacred anger, we are also co creators of what creates the anger in us. So, the point for us is to experience the anger, to say to ourselves, this is not okay, this is not tolerable, this is how people do accept this as normal, and so on and so forth. The next stage is to move on to that unconditionality from the crown chakra, that kind of love that exists on higher dimensions, and in that space to work on our own triggers privately in a way that I'm gonna release that trigger consciously with awareness. What triggers me is not okay. Yes, I experienced all of my emotions in that space. Now I'm letting it go and I know why I'm doing it and how I'm doing it. I'm just releasing it because this is not okay for my existence, but at the same time, if I'm still holding on to the feelings of this is not okay, of me being angry with this, me being angry with the other thing, me being angry with everything, I'm holding that energy active in this space and plane of existence. So, knowingly that my emotions are holding something active until I release these emotions is one of the motives we use to release these emotions of anger towards specific situations, people, and so on and so forth. The minute I release it, I make it lighter as an energy to exist because you know how this goes. There's a pull and a push. Okay, so I'm pushing, I'm pulling, I'm pushing, I'm pulling, and this back and forth keeps the energies active. Either those energies have to do with patterns, either they have to do with specific situations, with specific beliefs on specific people, and so on and so forth. So if I take myself out of that equation and I don't pull or I don't push by feeling this sacred anger and having these emotions about a situation or a person, there is no there's no polarity to pull and push anymore. The balance is lost. So in that space, what we create is the actual change to happen and take place. And if that's not a good enough motive, then I don't know what is, apart from finding your own inner peace and inner freedom in that space as well. So I hope this helped and clarified a lot of things. And let me, I'm sorry, repeat one more time at this video as well that it is absolutely fine to experience sacred anger, to experience all these emotions that feel disruptive, they feel negative, they feel too intense. It is absolutely fine. And the more you allow yourself to experience these feelings and to flow through you and to always seek for a better way of being within self, the easier it gets to understand how to release emotions, what is the benefit of releasing them, and how to find a higher state of consciousness in that space. And I'm not saying that being angry is a lower state of consciousness. On the contrary, it takes a lot of energy and a very beautiful third eye, a very beautiful and healthy third eye to realize that something is not normal and it's not okay to be happening. So, finding the strength within to actually release all the things that keep you agitated or angry. Know that you are doing something absolutely amazing for yourself and for the collective that you are working with as a transmutator in many ways. And by releasing that, you no longer hold that vibration active on this planet. So, for example, if we all human beings agreed, or a huge percentage of the human beings existing on this planet agreed that war is not okay for any of us, for anyone at all. Imagine what would have happened and released that. Every kind of war would have stopped because there would be no frequency of holding that, of creating that, of allowing that to happen for whatever the reason. This is how simple it is. So, I'm gonna love you and leave you with this as a message. As always, be true to yourself and be your true self. And please check out the description box. I have links where you can connect with me. We can work on a private session, either for a reading or a spiritual assessment or any other thing that interests you through my services. I would love to connect with you. Let me know in the comments how it feels like, if it helps you transmute your own feelings, if it helps you understand more of who you are and why you are responding in the way you are responding. And let's connect more.